All right, everyone. Thank you for joining me. I'm AKAPAD, Peter A. DeLuca, the eclectic one. Now, if you're new here, this is the first time we're doing the podcast in an audio visual exchange. And I guess the plan of action is to give you about 10 minutes, up to 10 minutes of the the what's now called the AKA Pad Audio Audacity podcast. That's right. We like saying words with the letter A in it. And then after that, you can jump to just about every single podcast network to listen to the rest of the discussion. Now, this episode is strictly designed to almost be I'm calling it 000. It's somewhat inspired by DC Comics Zero Hour. That's a super geek reference. And to I don't know, to bring in like a new audience. Previously, me and this dude Norm, we sat down. We did this like conversation that we recorded that became the first episode of the previous podcast, which was called Dream Warriors, later titled Dream Warriors Podcast, and it just was like it ran for 200 published episodes. We had a couple gimmicks in there, like the 31 Days of Dread for the Halloween episodes. We did Halloween events. We did Christmas events, Thanksgiving events. I mean, we tried to bring this love of comics, TV, streaming, movies, animation, together. And eventually, what happened was, what that turned into, like vision wise for me. I wanted Dream Warriors. I wanted a collection of geeks to almost like ride the wave with me and to be almost like counterculture within the geek culture, meaning that we would be more positive about movies. We would really drill into the meaning of some of them. If we had to talk about some things for 4 hours, we would. There was no cap, and like no cap to the conversations, and a lot of that, as of right now, still stands. The AKA Pad Audio Audacity podcast is designed to be long form conversations about like topics within movies and about like overall like self analysis of what we bring to our own like entertainment. And it needs to be long form conversation because right now, and this was the big response with Dream Warriors. This is a little bit of what led to the change of the podcast, the name change, the branding change, and the ideology change. Is that I do believe that when it comes to criticism, we're at an all-time low. Social media has destroyed the thought of long-form conversation. It has removed critical thinking when it comes to presenting ideas. I'm not saying there's not outliers out there. There's definitely outliers. But I just don't feel like people discuss film like they used to. And when they used to discuss film in with ideas of intent, which you never hear anymore. It's not a part of the conversation, and it's not a part of the filmmaking process. And I really do believe, I honestly believe that, you have a reach. Like if you're putting yourself out there, you have a responsibility to put the best message forward and not purposely be a troll, not try and be evil, not try and be divisive, but you will be those things. And when it comes to those terms today, they're almost like razor blades. A lot of those ideas upset a lot of people, and it comes with the thought that you're out to upset them. Now, that's not true at all. And look, I'm when it comes to a lot of the geek culture, I'm very much a contrarian. And what exactly does that mean? What does me being a contrarian within the geek culture mean? All right. So for episode 000 of the AKA Pad Audio Audacity podcast, I just like saying that. I do. Give me 1 second. I need coffee. I'm drinking cold coffee from last night because I woke up around 3 o'clock in the morning. did some laptop work, and I dumped some Snickers creamer in this, and it's just been sitting out since then. But I just wanted to finish it. All right. So the contrarian Peter. Last night, we are getting to it. It was Game of Thrones night, and social media loved it. Everyone was posting GOT Porter, GOT Johnny Walker Ice Whiskey, GOT Porter beer or IPA beer, the 3 alcohols of GOT. Which is kind of, I would say, like, that's probably, for me, the coolest thing about GOT right now, is that when it comes to products, it has more alcohol for licensing than, like, action figures and T-shirts and hats. I do like that. But it is a adult-driven show. So, along the way, I got into GOT. I got into GOT pretty early. And I was still living in Jersey at the time. And the show really did capture me, but it failed to do one thing eventually. I was looking at it as a replacement of Lord of the Rings, and it's just not. This is more Sopranos with swords. A couple the slowest growing dragons you can ever imagine. It's just like Lord of the Rings in the respect of walking. But yeah, I guess that's what you would have to do back then, or in this fantasy world. So it kind of was. It became the Sopranos, meaning that it had the same hooks: shock death, shock violence, shock banging, shock like massacres, betrayals, and you would get that every so often to keep it going. Alliances would turn on each other, all these things. And it does kind of lend itself to what I call the Sopranos formula. Now, HBO does know how to access the Sopranos formula. They successfully did it with Boardwalk Empire. Very much the same. They've tried it since then. It doesn't always work, and other networks and other showrunners have tried to emulate it. Maybe we'll get more into the failed GOTs. So I eventually just got bored with the show. And I again, probably the only person saying this. I literally got bored with Game of Thrones. It didn't become interesting. And every time it looked like that they were going to go really deep into the magic, they didn't. They had they would set up ideas, and that, in my mind, just wouldn't deliver. And eventually, if I'm watching it for boobies, I'll just, watch porn on my phone. I'll do that. So, it's been about 2 years, probably longer. The last, I don't even know what episode it was. The last time I watched Game of Thrones, the redheaded Stark girl and the guy that had his penis chopped off jumped over a ledge. They were trying to escape. And that was the season cliffhanger. And that was it. That is the last time your boy over here, AKAPAD Peter A. DeLuca, from the AKAPAD Audio Audacity podcast, episode 000, watched the show. Until last night. And last night, I got into it. I was excited. I had GOT Oreos, because I was going to do a GOT Oreo thing after the episode. Pumped. And my God, can it be any slower, more disappointing? What type of buffer, what type of setup for a season finale, episode 1, was that? If we're looking at these episodes as chapters, and I believe there's 8 chapters, it's disgusting. Complete waste. Nothing got done. And look, and it's not hard for me to follow and catch up. It just kind of solidified this idea, and it goes right into Avengers Endgame. And it's part Star Wars, Rise of Skywalker. just because you want something to be good, and everyone seems to think it's like great, it doesn't mean it's anything. It doesn't mean it's good. Most likely, it means it's going to be a disappointment. Now, like, am I excited for Avengers Endgame? I'm really not. I'm really not excited for the next Star Wars. I'm at a crossroads in my life where, like, I've been absorbing all of this content, all these comics, novels, TV shows, movies, meeting creators, doing things myself. I just want something new. Is that too much to ask? I just want something new. I'm tired. I mean, GOT at one time was new. I get it, but I'm tired of it. I want something else. I want something other than Star Wars. I want something other than Avengers Endgame. I can't wait. I think we're maybe 2 weeks out. We're 2 weeks away from that just ending, and I'm fine with it. I don't think they're going to have a resolution that makes any sense. They haven't introduced any Celestials or God characters in the Avengers. They haven't. So I don't know how the Avengers are going to be able just to punch and go toe to toe and outwit Thanos. I get the idea that Doctor Strange saw one possible way, but come on. Oh, we have an airplane flying by, but that's just ridiculous. It is. But look. To continue this, YouTubers, I love you. I gotta go, but you can find the AKAPAD Audio Audacity podcast on the following, including everywhere else, but mostly iTunes, Google Play Music, Anchor, Spotify. It's everywhere. Subscribe to continue this rant. And look, it's not like we're not going to have people on. We're going to have guests. We're going to have people here eventually. Again. But yeah. So is it me just being an angry geek? This is a lot of the stuff. I remember when I was younger, I would literally get into arguments with my father and family at the dinner table, just being a rebellious youth, and being upset that they're not even absorbing or into or even interested the things that I was becoming interested and into, and I would challenge this and I would push back, and to me this is the natural healthy course of raging hormones. It really is. And with those discussions and with those again, arguments, one of the concessions I wanted to make, one of the trade-offs, if I was going to be an SOB, the trade-off was going to be I would never succumb. I would never surrender into the darkness of only being locked into old things. And I saw a lot of this. I saw a lot of this in my father. I saw a lot of this in my grandfather. And to always be available for new. And I think, because I wanted that trade-off, because I wanted that to be a discipline of myself, hey, Dal. Everyone, we have Dallas the cat over here. What's up, buddy? Dallas loves, quick side note, Dallas loves when I do the podcast from here, because he believes he's going to get fed, but it also inspires him to eat. So there you go. Dallas is just about to chow down right now. You might, the audio might pick up some of it, but yeah. And because of that, I'm always interested in exactly what's new. Why is it new? How is it new? The creators around it. To the point I actually took myself out of the entire culture. Wasn't reading comics. I spent years of not really watching movies. I would say I spent maybe about 3 years, and the top two movies I watched was The Aviator with Leonardo DiCaprio, the Martin Scorsese movie, and The Warriors, the Walter Hill movie. And I literally had those on repeat on a portable DVD player for about 2 years while I worked at a design company in New Jersey, like post everything, like post breakup, post kind of like by yourself, but nothing. And I viewed at the time the geek culture as it demasculated me, and it got set me up for like a breakup. Breakup I really didn't want to go through. Who does? And that time that I took myself away was long enough to when I came back, I was able to see things with like a lens. And I knew that was unique amongst any person around me. And I immediately wouldn't get impressed by simple things, but then again would get impressed by simple things, meaning, the Michael Bay Transformer movies. I absolutely learned to love those movies. And it doesn't take away from my perception of film, my love of studying, narrative and understanding where it breaks, and not why. Never being hung up on the whys, just being hung up on the mechanics of the diversions of what the overall idea and communication is from the artist to us, and again, and understanding that all of these, everything we watch, everything we read, it's a product. It's designed to be a product. It's not designed to be anything else. We have people who have to get paid when they make these things. And I think that's a part of it. I think that the commerce part is the X factor, because I think a lot... sorry, Dow. I think a lot of these people, a lot of these artists and filmmakers and comic book creators, I think if they didn't have the business side breathing down their neck, their work would never get done, and it would be like a long dribble. And the pursuit of money and being able to provide for yourself actually sculpts these guys into masters of their craft, so they can be a Stephen King and crank out a book a year, which is amazing. Or Dean Koontz, who I think Dean Koontz's output equals or overcomes Stephen King's, which is amazing. And I think Dean Koontz, pound for pound, has as many great ideas. Stephen King has it, and Dean Koontz has Coco the Clown. And I just love the two of them being like a two-headed beast, like Tom Brady and Peyton Manning at one time. Now it's a single-headed dragon, the Tom Brady, the TB12 dragon. But yeah, so last night when I was just watching GOT, absorbing it, I just got bored. I just, I started working on the blog post for today. And maybe that's part of the problem. When you do stuff at home, you can pick something up. But earlier yesterday, I mean, with a female, with someone, I watched 3 Tom Cruise movies back to back to back, and it was just an amazing slow crawl morning, whimper almost, and the movies that were good kept both of us engaged and locked in, and the ones that weren't, we drifted off. And speaking of drifting, one of the movies we watched was Days of Thunder. And I always watch the first 30 minutes of Days of Thunder, because I think the first 30 minutes of Days of Thunder is the most locked in, NASCAR car racing experience you can imagine. You can imagine on celluloid. It's a full success from that. Where it potentially fails is it doesn't know what type of movie it wants to be during the second act, but the third act it comes back strong. And the movie just stinks. It's probably Tom Cruise's worst movie. After that, we watched Mission Impossible Fallout. Not Fallout, Ghost Protocol, which completely just captured both of us. I've seen that movie maybe 2 other times. To me, I was mesmerized by it, and both of us, we really got into it. And then we watched Edge of Tomorrow, Live, Die, Repeat. And equal reaction, insanely into those second and third movies, and that's what entertainment does to us. It makes us. Last week for me was insanely busy. I did a lot of work at the gym, and I was physically and mentally just kaput. And being able to put movies on at the right time, and enjoying company with someone like the moment melts away and you do a brain dump and you just feel better. You feel better because you have things out of your head because you were able to escape. Okay, that's the magic of movies. To me, like, that's the true movie magic. No other art form can do that. They can just kind of like, transport you and you almost become a zombie for a little bit. And I think zombifying yourself for portions at a time throughout the week is significant. Now, I think everything else is negative when it comes to regularly watching mostly any type of TV show. I'm kind of with that with sports, and every year when football season like rolls around, I get a little I just get a little paranoid. I want to do it less and less because it's such a zombie driven drive. I don't mind every couple monitoring the season, but every couple weeks catching a game somewhere. Like, that's really how I like to do the NFL. And my time away from that during those Jersey years, I think like, I kind of see some of this stuff for what it is. And to me, Game of Thrones last night just became a waste of time. Nothing happened. I just couldn't believe it. I mean, you have 8 episodes left. You have 8 hours to wrap up a ton of these threads. We have characters that are bumping into each other that really haven't seen each other since season 1. Okay, we have like the Starks somewhat reuniting, and it just doesn't feel impactful. There's no want about it. The little Stark girl and the Hound, like, that interaction was a little bit cute. The like, if Game of Thrones eventually went into magic, the show would be so much better. It really would. Like, the show would be worth the wait if they were doing magic the right way. I'm going to say the same exact thing about Avengers Endgame. If they went into the Celestials, if they really went into the body and the meat of the cosmic powers, and it doesn't mean they're not doing it, because we've only seen maybe an hour of the movie in the previews. But without cosmic interference in what Thanos is doing, without like a council and those forces trying to get him to give it up, it makes no sense. The Infinity Gems and whoever wields them and whoever would hunt them down makes no sense at all. It's a major problem when it comes to Endgame. So I'm already like looking at Endgame as just a resolution that is not going to thrill me, because I know the tools that they have to play with. I know the tools that they have to put that nail right into that wood with, and they're not doing it. And Game of Thrones, and I never even read the novels. I don't know how deep the novels go into the magic stuff, but it's probably deeper than what I'm seeing on the show. But look, everyone, we're going to continue this. I'm not sure exactly how much of it's going to be audio. I might just do like the audio video stuff Monday mornings. I thought about that just as I was talking to all of you. But we're going to continue to rock and roll. And I wanted this to be like a reintroduction episode. That's why I'm calling it episode 000, inspired by DC Comics 0 Hour. And from there, we're just going to, we're going to go to episode 200, because we're keeping the original numbering that the Dream Warriors podcast set up. So be on the lookout. The next episode is going to be AKAPAD Audio Audacity episode 200, and we're taking it from there. Okay, so we are respecting and honoring the work of myself and everyone else that contributed to Dream Warriors. That if you want those episodes, just scroll down. They're still available within the feed. And how amazing is that? But I love you. Let's rock and roll, and let's